What's up, guys? We're live. We're back. This has been a minute since we went live on the channel here. We're back, guys. No interruptions this time. There used to be a part of the streaming where we used to have a lot of interruptions, but look, not anymore. Now it's all amazing, all smoothly. Shout out to all you guys if you guys are joining me. I couldn't get the chat on. That was the only little hiccup in the road, is that we couldn't get the chat on, but we're here. Obviously, look, I wanted to talk about a few things. UFC's going down tomorrow, UFC 324. So I'm excited for that. This is a dope card. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We've had a lot of shit cards. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's been pretty tough. What's up, Isaac? By the way, I meant to say shout out to you for waiting. Shout out, guys. I was a little late, but look, I can't help that. You guys know I'm a bit late with these things. You know what I'm trying to say. So tomorrow's UFC 324, which I'm excited about. I'm excited for that card. I want to do some predictions, answer a few of your questions, as I'm sure maybe you guys have some questions here or there, whatever the case is. And also talk about Zuffa Boxing, guys, because as I just said in the title, it's like I feel like that UFC might have bottled it. Not really bottled it, because I only feel like that there's so much you can do. John Dong is here. What's up, John Dong? What's up, Fish Nerds? Damn, it's like I never left. I feel like the crew is literally here. I didn't watch the boxing event. Why was it a disaster? What's up, Jack? So that's what I want to talk about. It being a disaster, guys. So when I heard that the UFC, and I was actually a sympathizer, and I don't want to say I was excited for the event, but I was definitely curious for the event, because, you don't know what this event is going to be. It could be literally anything. It could wind up being anything. So I went into it kind of hopeful, because I kind of thought it would be similar to Dana White's Contender Series, which I actually don't mind Dana White's Contender Series all that much, to be honest with you guys. I think I haven't watched it. I don't think I watched last season, but it's pretty good. And I feel like that what Dana White's Contender Series does is low-key, they kind of make matchups that I feel like are a little bit one-sided. Sometimes there is a lot of times actually where we do see upsets on Dana White's Contender Series, but I feel like a lot of the times, yeah, there are good matchups here and there, but I feel like a lot of the times it is kind of a stage to boost these guys into the UFC. So it's kind of like pre-hype before you actually get to the UFC. So I kind of thought that's what we were kind of tuning into here. I thought, hey, probably that the UFC is probably going to, roll out these guys that they really believe in, that they think could be future stars, pair them up against guys that, are undefeated on paper, but they're probably not going to win, and we're going to see some dope knockouts, dope fights. It was not that, guys. It was not that. It was really bad, and, I mean, first of all, it was a disaster for multiple reasons. Really, number one, I think, honestly, underrated number one, and I'm extremely worried for tomorrow night with Paramount Plus and UFC, because Paramount Plus, I hate to say it, and a lot of people were reporting the same thing. I don't think it really got popular because realistically, how many people were watching this event? But a lot of people were complaining about issues, guys. And keep in mind, this is a smaller event, a much smaller event than UFC 324 is going to be. I guarantee you probably like 5,000, 10,000 people watching. Okay, maybe a little more. Maybe I'm being mean, whatever. Maybe it was, 20,000, whatever. We could speculate all day, whatever it was. But if they can't handle that, guys, imagine UFC, bro. This is another beast. People are going to be tuning into this fight, especially it's not pay-per-view. It is going to be way more viewers than ESPN probably the last pay-per-view had, for sure. I'm pretty confident in that. It's a better card, better everything. I don't know if they're going to be able to handle it, guys. I'm a little nervous. I really don't know if Paramount Plus can handle the UFC where they are right now. And the worst part is, it's not like they have a long break to figure it out after. They have next week where Volkanovski is going to be fighting Diego Lopez. First of all, I don't know if ads are still going to pay for or play during the pay-per-view. I have ads on Paramount Plus. I know some people don't. So maybe I should just get my money up or whatever. But, like, I have ads, so I don't know. Maybe I'll upgrade it at a certain point if it really does interfere with the pay-per-view. Because, come on, that's a little ridiculous. Let me read the chat real quick, by the way, and I'll get more into it. What's up, Fish Nerds? Isaac, what's up? Fish Nerd says the Rodriguez fight was pretty good. The first one on the main card. The rest of the card was pretty mid. And honestly, Fish Nerds, that is what I was literally just about to say as I was going to get into the boxing card. 1,000%. So I watched the headliner prelim fight. The last prelim fight, I should say, and it was okay. Like, it really was pretty boring, but the first fight was actually a pretty good fight. The Rodriguez fight, was that the first fight, or was that, or was that the second fight? I don't know. I think that might have been the second fight, actually, now I'm thinking about it. But whatever fight that was, Rodriguez versus Sol. I forgot what's the guy's name. I forgot his name already. It's like Solamander or something like that. Now I'm thinking, isn't that? I don't know, guys. But maybe that was his name. Maybe that wasn't his name. That fight was really entertaining. I'm not going to lie. And there was actually some like, ups and downs. It seemed competitive. That was a really good fight. And look, that one, when I saw it, I was like, okay, look. Did it maybe not end perfectly? Because I think it ended in like a doctor stoppage or something like that. Or am I bugging? Maybe that was the prelim. I don't even know. Now these are all meshing together here. But that just shows how mid it was. There wasn't really... All fights were the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, all fights were the same. It was literally just... and I'm going to get into that in general and kind of why I'm feeling pessimistic about boxing in general. I don't know if boxing... I don't know. They really, I think, need to shake things up if they're going to make boxing entertaining. You know what I mean? Maybe rule changes, really consider certain things. We'll get into that later. But overall, each fight was literally just, it was feinting, clinching. It was literally just boxing, guys. Like, the most boring form of boxing I've ever seen. I mean, it was really bad. The Callum Walsh main event. I mean, Callum Walsh got dropped, knocked down. And honestly, credit to the commentators, by the way, I wanted to say, because they were actually telling it as they were. I honestly thought they were going to be glazing Callum Walsh and trying to act like he's the next, the next big thing in boxing. I'm glad that they actually were pretty honest about his performance, and they actually were like, look, he was stalling in the last round. He didn't look good. Like I said, he got dropped, and when I say he got dropped, you guys probably are imagining something very different than what happened. What actually happened was it was a slip that was caused by a punch, which technically is a knockdown, right? I mean, and I agree with it. I agree with the call. I think if a punch makes you fall to the ground, whether that's your fault or not, it clearly was a slip. And guys, the gloves only touched the ground. It was literally the gloves only. 2 gloves. It like literally scraped the floor. Like it literally went, oh fuck, now my mic is falling, guys. Hold up. Bear with me here. It literally went like scrape, you know what I'm saying? Like, it literally went scrape like that, like, and now I'm fucking, okay, you guys hopefully got a better image of it, and hopefully it was worth it for me destroying my mic or whatever. Yes, ads will play. The no ad pay-per-view, or the no ad Paramount option does not include live sports. It's in the fine print. Wow, that sucks. Now, the stoppage was the next fight. Oh, yeah, it was the next fight. Okay. So maybe it was the first fight of the main card. Whatever, guys. Like I said, they're all kind of merging together because it really just did feel mid. It really was a mid fight. Yeah, it was so-so. You know what I'm trying to say. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like I said, it really does feel like I never left. It's been a minute since I went streaming. A lot of, my PC. Right now I'm not even using my PC. I'm in the same place. But my Wi-Fi I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's the RAM. I thought it was the RAM. I got RAM, and then it was starting to act up. I'm right now on my Mac. Shout out to the Mac. Credit to the Mac. JG blackballed? What is JG? Justin Gaethje? Blackballed? JG. I don't know, guys. You're going to need to elaborate on that. In other news, I mean, we should really talk about the real boxing news. You guys see, did you guys see what's the Adam 22 versus Jason Love, guys? I saw, huh? Crazy. What do you guys think had more views? The Aiden Ross, Jason Love, Adam 22 fight, or what was it? The, what do you call, what's the other one? The Zuffa event. Zuffa or Aiden Ross, Jason Love, Adam 22. What do you guys think? I think, honestly, dude, definitely Jason Love, Adam 22. As I said, I was just shitting on it. I think probably the Zuffa card, I mean, bro, realistically, I mean, maybe there was probably some people from Ireland. I feel like I keep knocking into this thing. I'm very hands, you know what I'm saying? I'm very moving around here. But I feel like probably, maybe some people from Ireland watched it. Maybe you got Conor McGregor who tuned it on at home. Do they even use Paramount Plus? I don't even know. I know that everybody's different. Shout out. At least, poor Canada, man. I see that they're still paying pay-per-view. I mean, am I wrong? Can't you just get a VPN? I was saying this, right? Like, if you're from New Zealand or something, or you're from another place that still does pay-per-view. I don't know if New Zealand does pay-per-view, by the way, but, don't mean to throw them under the bus. But if you're from a place that has pay-per-view, why can't you just do a VPN? Tell me not, right? Does that not work, or I don't know. But, yeah, so in the whole thing, guys, I do want to say, I guess, kind of on a fair note, I do kind of like what the UFC is doing. I've seen some people kind of criticize, oh, what the hell is this card? I actually was, like I said, going into it, I was pretty hopeful, and I wasn't criticizing the card. Why? Because I actually felt like, look, you know what? Maybe it's actually not a bad idea. Even though the UFC is this multi, billion-dollar company now, worth $7.7 billion, whatever. Even though they're worth all that, and obviously have a great track record of making great fights and making great events, I actually kind of like that they went into this with not a huge card. I mean, you had Callum Walsh. Just hey, let's slowly do this. Let's get practice first before we take on these big Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury type fights, or these legendary type fights. These Canelo Crawford obviously turned out well, but I don't know how an actual involvement they were in the production of that. I honestly don't know. Were they involved heavily? They could have been, but I don't think they were, just judging on how it looked. To me, I don't know. Can one of you guys tell me that if you guys know if it was? But yeah, no. So I'm curious to see, with the practice, with now doing these minor events, how it's going to, because some people are saying that they might do Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, and obviously AJ, I don't know what's going on with his whole retirement thing. I don't know if that's still happening, but I've heard that, like, people have said that. And that would be crazy to do. And obviously, look, they're in talks to sign Alexander Usyk. They have Jaya Pataya, which is insane, an insane catch that they got so early into the whole boxing thing. So, crazy. Like I said, crazy on Zuffa to actually get that name. And I think they probably can get Alexander Usyk. Isn't Turkey just like an infinite money machine? You know what I mean? They got the Saudi money, they got all that backing, and stuff like that. Feel free, guys, also to ask any questions or whatever. I'll answer whatever questions, take the time out, and do all that as we're breaking it down. But like I said, there's a lot to break down, so we're not even at the beginning of this. But we're near the end of the Zuffa thing, because then I will move on to UFC and all that stuff. I will say this, look, like I said, I think it's good they're getting the practice. Maybe they'll learn from this. It did feel like even the prelims, they went longer than they were supposed to do. I think they were supposed to end at 9. So clearly they're still working on the timing, very much so. They're still working on the timing of it. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. We'll see at the end of the day. Like, I think that they will get better, and especially if they have access to any names. If they have access to any names, like I said, I think they're gonna get Usyk. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, at the same time, it's so interesting to me. Like, Jaya Pataya, apparently he's still able to go for other belts. It feels like, to me, I guess they're gonna, pay for these big names. I guess they haven't been able to really make them agree to, hey, you're fighting exclusively for one belt. And obviously also they don't have the Muhammad Ali Act passed. I know it's pretty much all but passed. They have one step left, which is for it to actually get voted on in Congress and stuff. But it seems to be likely it's going to pass, and people have spoken up, and it seems to be kind of agreed on both sides. So it seems like that it's probably going to pass. But according to Jaya Pataya's manager or something like that, he said he's still going to fight for other boxing titles. So it's not going to be, I don't know, seemingly it's not going to be like UFC, where you have to fight for that one title, or you're only fighting for that one title. It seems to me like you're still, these big names like the Alexander Usyks, the Jaya Patayas, the whoever else they sign, maybe Anthony Joshua, I don't know if they'll actually, how crazy would it be if Anthony Joshua does sign with Zuffa after being with Eddie Hearn for his whole career, and Eddie Hearn now and Dana White not having that doesn't seem like a serious beef, but, having somewhat of a back and forth and all this and that, and then for him to turn his back on Eddie Hearn would be insane. But it could happen. I mean, look, business is business at the end of the day. If he's really going to get paid a big bag, who knows? Maybe Eddie Hearn will even say, hey, you should take this opportunity. They're going to offer you a lot of money, more money than I could offer you. So that is what it is. Maybe that will happen. I don't know. And, it's another thing I just thought of, weirdly enough. They really, once they sign you, it depending on how the contract is actually is, if there's a renegotiation period and things like that, essentially they have you for life. Because if Saudi really has all this money, you know what I mean? And for those guys that don't know, when UFC fighters, especially champions, we saw this with Francis Ngannou actually, when they're reaching the end of the contract and all this and that, the UFC has exclusivity period or whatever. I don't know why I said it like that. That was a really weird way of saying exclusivity, but they have that period of time where basically they have that time alone to negotiate, and maybe they can reach out to other people, but the UFC or whatever company in this case has the right to match that offer, as long as it's the same amount of money and it's a match or higher, or whatever the case is. So if you're able to do that, then you're able to say, hey, you can't take it. You know what I mean? And some contracts have that. And if they have Jai Opetaia to that, I mean, essentially they have him for life at that point, right? Because unless they decide to just kick him out. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, like, will they, it seems like he's going to be able to fight for other titles. Will that be the case for every big name? I assume that the goal probably at the end is just to be like UFC, where you're in one promotion and, you know, these boxers are all fighting for that one belt, just like UFC. What did Isaac say? He said, this whole Zuffa thing is new to me. So Zuffa, but yeah, no, it is new. I mean, look, it's new to everybody. I don't know. This is their way of revolutionizing boxing. So we'll see if it actually works or not. Probably. I don't know. So will it work? Probably. I mean, like I said, when you have Dana White, like look what he did with UFC. He has the numbers. I mean, if he's going to get Alexander Usyk, I mean, if he puts on also Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, I'm going to watch that fight. If he puts on Alexander Usyk versus, I don't know, Deontay Wilder, I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying that because Alexander Usyk has been calling out Deontay Wilder a lot. If they put that on, I would watch it. I'm going to put on probably whatever they do. So I think that they probably will work, and I think most boxing fans will, especially with this money. And then in 10 years or so, we'll probably be talking about Zuffa being the king of the promotion. And I don't even know if I should say this, guys. I hope this isn't like crazy, but I've been thinking recently, like, now this is crazy to say, but I'm gonna just say it anyway. I can't back out now. But Dana White, right? Didn't he say his like life expectancy was like 10 years or something like that? Like when he did that weird test. So, but first of all, actually, I'm thinking about it. You know what? How legit is this test anyway? You know what I'm saying? How could you actually find out how long you're gonna live for? But Dana White, remember, he did that test. He found out he was gonna die before he was 60 or something like that, or before he was, I don't know what it was, some young age. And he was like, "Damn, I really need to do something about my life," and went on a whole health kick, blah blah blah. But I'm like, at the same time, I mean, realistically, if your stuff came like that, right? If you've got your report like that, and it came like, yo, you're, gonna die in like 10 years. I don't know how much, even if you go on 10 years of dieting, how much really that's gonna extend. I mean, look, probably extend 5-10 years maybe, but that's not that long. You know what I'm saying? Like that is, an average amount of time. And like I said, this is crazy. Yo, fish nerds. No, fucking hell. God damn it, I actually deleted your message, bro. But you're spitting facts. So Fishner says, bro, did you catch Max Kellerman being dragged on Twitter for sucking off Dana all night? Oh, no, I didn't see it on Twitter, but I agree with you, bro. I was literally talking about it as I was watching it. This guy glazes Dana White. He's been glazing Dana White since the Canelo Crawford thing. He actually had some decent commentating, but, it is what it is. But like I said, Dana, though, I do wonder, like I was talking about his death. If Dana dies, right, before Zuffa Boxing, I think that is, like, honestly the biggest, most likely thing that would be stalling it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hoping for this. I like Dana as, I mean, do I even like Dana? I don't know. But I don't want him dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely not to the point where I want him dead. Give me a shout-out, fella. Yo, who is this? Oh, I thought you were actually someone else. I thought you were Piggly Wiggly. Never mind. You don't get a shout-out. What the hell is that? Unless you stay here, I'll give you a shout-out. But Piggly Wiggly, shout-out to him. Shout-out to PZ. Shout-out to Isaac. Shout-out to John Dong. Fish Nerds. Y'all are always here. So shout-out to y'all. I know y'all name by just popping up. Isaac said, if I'm 50 and I get the news there's only 10 years left, I'd be okay with it. Well, yeah, Dana White was apparently freaked out about it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll stop sleeping with your moms if you do. Bro, come on. You ain't sleeping with my moms, bro. Don't be saying that shit, bro, unless you're trying to get popped, bro. I'll find out where you live. Type shit, drivel. I'm joking, everybody. I'm joking, YouTube. Don't report me or anything like that, YouTube. I've been here a while already, man. What the fuck? Nah. Oh, so you just haven't chatted? So prove it. What? Are you like okay, prove that like you're prove that you're like a good comrade of the channel. You know what I'm saying? Prove that you've actually been watching and shit, and that you're not just hopping in on here. You know what I'm saying? Although honestly, at the same time, I'm actually all right. You know what? I won't give you the shout out yet. Me too. I'm joking. Okay. So good thing I didn't. But I was gonna say, yo, to be honest, like, I appreciate you even wanting a shout out from me. I don't know what my shout out will do for you anyway. To be honest, in here we're popping with like 10 viewers or so. So I love all 10 of y'all. Honestly, better than I'd even expect, man. You know, I gotta say, like, shout out to you. I haven't gone streaming in a while, so I didn't know how it was gonna be. I didn't know if I'd be be met with crickets, but no, it's been actually pretty popping. How should I prove that? I don't know. If you're a fan, come on. If you've been watching the channel, you should at least be like, okay, well, I don't know. There's anything you want. Like, say, only something that, you know, someone that actually watches the channel would know. That's what I say. Just do something like that. Like, bro, why is every message... I'm getting, like, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm getting 50 messages right now that your messages won't show. I don't know what's going on. Jake pulling a Dan Hooker, lol, JK Jack. You see, look, that was something that you could prove that you're a channel watcher. Shout out to you, Mr. 509. But you see, he proved with that joke alone that he was a fan of, like, easily. He proved that he watches, that he's been on the streams, that he's watched my videos. So shout out. What do you call it? This is my first time seeing you, I won't lie. But I mean, I've been in the chat for a while. Hey, look, I appreciate it, bro. But what do you mean seeing me? You just watch my videos with your eyes closed? You're like, oh, I can't see this guy. What the fuck? Like, I show my face in all my videos. Yo, Piggly Wiggly, rewind, like, literally go, like, 3 minutes back. I literally shouted you out. Go literally, like, 3 minutes back on the stream. I literally said, shout out to Piggly Wiggly, bro. So I was literally just talking about you. I've been home since you interviewed, almost at his gym. Hey, you see? Fish Nerds. You see Fish Nerds? Has literally, that was like my second video, guys. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Fish Nerds, been here. I've literally talked to Fish Nerds. He's been in the Discord. Shout out to him. Join the Discord, link in the description. We still have to talk about UFC. We're still, I guess I'll wrap up really my talks with Zuffa Boxing. I literally said everything. It was just mid, man. It really was a disappointment. I just thought it would be, like I said, like, put on, my advice is I hope that, you know, if they're going to do more of these small events, do, like, okay, get your stars, get people you really believe in, put them up against bums, kind of like this is what boxing does, yes, but there's a reason for it at the same time. And the UFC have such a big name that I think if they what do you call it? They have such a big name, like, if they just put on these knockout fights, look at Dana White's Contender Series. That's literally how Dana White's Contender Series is. And I think that Zuffa Boxing has more promotion than Dana White's Contender Series. Tell me not. More people are probably going to watch Zuffa Boxing. No, more people probably aren't now. You know what I'm saying? Just because of how the event went. But I think if you did it like that and marketed it like that and did that for, like, the first year and put on these big events with it, I think that would really help, and I think you would see fast growth. But at the same time, what the fuck do I know? I mean, look, could be wrong, and maybe that's what they tried to do, and it just failed. Maybe it just shows that, you know what it is? Boxing is so easy to stall. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is so easy to... It's such a technical sport. That's why it's like 12 rounds, you know? But with MMA, if you stall like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're kind of like, you know, staying on the outside for too long, like... Dude, like, so much can happen at that point. You can get hit with kicks. I mean, too, like, you have to get so close to even hit in boxing, so you got to get in close. You got to take your time getting in close. You know, it's a completely different sport, which has kind of made me tonight raise a bigger question, which is, you know, can boxing be like UFC? Because, like, guys, I don't want to... I could watch a whole card of UFC. I don't know if I could literally watch 12 boxing fights in a row. I'm going to be real with you guys. After, like if it went like tonight... I can't. Even if it's, you know, one of the more dull pay-per-views, I would still much rather watch that than boxing, a whole thing. You know, when boxing is good is when it's at its highest level, when you have Tyson Fury versus Deontay, when you have these events. But the question that we're all raising is, can boxing be done in a UFC promotional style? I don't know if it can. You know, I don't know if the sport is really, maybe it's because they're not fighting or finding the right guys. I don't know what it is, you know, but MMA, like, you have these dogs that are just willing to fight, that are just, you know, down the fight, keep fight. Like, they don't care, you know, like, they'll, like I said, like, if you're standing there for too long, you're going to hit with leg kicks, body kicks, spinning attacks. Like, there's so much unpredictability. Obviously, there's more weapons. My point is, MMA clears boxing. We can all agree. Thank you. Oh, he said, first time coming across your channel, fool. Damn, why you call me a fool? Well, shout out Drevel then. You know what? I'm going to give you a shout out because, you know what? New viewers always get a shout out. So, shout out to you. and I hope you stay. Oh, yeah, I went back and saw that 3 minutes ago. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Piggly Wiggly. Been an OG. All y'all been OGs, except for Drevel, who's just got here, but who knows? Maybe at the end of the stream, he'll be an OG. Boxers would have to take a pay cut. So, I mean, okay, so I think what they're doing now, and that's a great question, Isaac, actually. So people might say, oh, boxers are going to get a pay cut. So what it seems like to me is the strategy is, like I said, the top boxers will not get a pay cut. Like Alexander Usyk, if he signs Zuffa Boxing, it's probably going to be an insane contract. If Canelo gets signed, if Terrence Crawford gets, I know Terrence Crawford retired, but honestly, I think he'll probably unretire at some point. I'm pretty sure. But whether any of those guys, any of these big guys, right? If they sign, it's probably not going to be for a pay cut. That's when Saudi gets involved, pays out big time, boom, you move on. For these smaller guys, I think they're saying like, hey, at the end of the day, we're going to be the next UFC. Like, look what we've done with UFC. Sign with us, be one of the OG guys, and you'll benefit. Like, I'm sure they're thinking, hey, look, I could hop on this. Like, if I'm offered this, even if it's not the biggest money, it's still the argument that the UFC has. If you're an unknown boxer, you're not going to get paid a lot from other promotions. You know what I mean? And other promotions aren't exactly going to fight over you probably. They have so many other, prospects. So if you're a boxer and you get that opportunity, you're probably going to take it. And that is what I think we're going to see. And that's what I'm saying. I think in 10 years, that is when we're going to start to see, well, now all these young people that got into the sport are now signed with Zuffa, and they're putting on fights that we actually want to see. And that is when it's going to be really a matter of, can they make the good fights? Because if they keep putting on events like tonight, no, they're not going to. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they keep putting on events like tonight, we're not going to give a fuck who Callum Walsh is going to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to care about any of that. So they got to really work on that, I think. I think that is what eventually they're going to have to get to. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe they could really promote guys. Maybe they got to really definitely focus on coming up with stars. You know what I'm saying? Really finding good talent. I think that is the key. All this will fall apart if they don't have good talent eventually. I think, the first few years, we're not going to know if it fails, I don't think, until like 5, 6, 7 years, 6, 7, you know what I mean? Shout out. But we'll find out soon. We'll find out not soon. I think they're going to do fine for the first few years, put on good fights, blah, blah, blah. But we'll see. And maybe they'll back out. Let me see what you guys have been saying though. I totally agree, but thanks for the question, Isaac. That was really good. I totally agree. I think less rounds would help, but it would kind of delegitimize the product. I honestly think also maybe not shortening the rounds, making rounds 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I think I always wonder, like, the gloves are really big, 10-ounce gloves. You could do 8-ounce gloves, maybe. I don't know if that would help, to be honest with you. Let's see. Brand risk was so much more entertaining. I'm gonna get to that. That's what we were just talking about that actually in the beginning of the stream. We were joking. We're like, I said brand risk definitely had more what do you call it? More viewers. That Russian who beat Korgdon. You're talking about Vitaly. I didn't watch the fight, but I knew that he was like fighting. But I'm gonna read the rest of the chat. I'm gonna get to that though because I do wanna. I'll talk a little bit about it. And his brother's fighting next week too. What the fuck? Damn, I didn't really know much about. I'll get to that in a second. Actually, I want to kind of circle back to that. I just want to read. Is Smotherman still scheduled to fight tomorrow? If not, does he still get his show purse since he technically made weight? I don't think technically he would. They might just, hey, you know what I mean? Like the guy passed out. Let's just do it in good faith. Hopefully they do something like that. But I don't think they actually have to because he made weight. I think, look, Armin made weight. Oh, no, Armin actually didn't make weight. Whoops. What? I'm trying to think of someone massive, but I don't know. Maybe there's never been someone massive that got paid. Whatever. I think there's a chance, but they probably won't, honestly. UFC is such fucking, like, I don't even know, man. They're so greedy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Justin Gaethje, and I actually have criticized Justin Gaethje a long time, and I'm actually going to be rooting for Justin Gaethje, I think, tomorrow, just because of what he said. I mean, it's like, the UFC, like, seriously, like, there's 4 performance bonuses. Why can't they just add up to $1 million? Like, $250K each. You would change these fighters' lives. But I think a lot of the UFC structure really is relying on these fighters to be broke, and I think that is why they don't do it. I don't think it's that they're so evil. I think well, it is actually because they're evil. That's an evil thing to do. But I'm just saying it's not because they're like, I want this money to myself. It's not even about that. I think it's really even worse than that. It's actually just I want them to suffer so that they're more reliant on us. You know, it's pretty fucked up, I think. And I think it's pretty clear. Don't even know how I came up, why we were talking about that. But because of the Salamander thing. Yeah, I think so. I don't think so. Hollywood Fight Night Zuffa is a nice jacket doesn't make a homeless person less homeless. Fight Night, that's funny. That's actually really funny. I agree with that. One in LFA over. For sure. I mean, Zuffa Boxing was terrible. I mean, it was awful. Bro, you are nailing it. They're going up the up in corners who have no names to contracts that'll be hard to get out of while paying the stars in the beginning. And even the stars, like I said, if they have, this exclusivity period after, you run out of fights, which, like I said, a lot of UFC fighters have this, where you fight for 10 fights, you fight those 10 fights, hypothetically, whatever, you're trying to get out of your contract. UFC has 6 months or so, or a year, I think, actually, in Francis Ngannou's case, it was like a year, and they basically have the right to match any offer you're given, and say, hey, no, I'll pay you this. So we want to take that. I think actually it's shorter. I think it's like a month or something like that. Now I'm thinking about it. I think the year is just to renegotiate. But like it's like a month, maybe even 6 months. I've seen it in boxing too. If they have that deal, essentially, if Saudi just has all this money, they've got anybody under contract really for the rest of their life. You sign with them, you're pretty much fucked. Although at the same, I mean, well, I'm getting too specific, but pretty much, yeah, you're fucked. There's maybe some ways out of it, but just from, given on what UFC's rules or Zuffa's rules will be. Bro, you were, I read that. Brand Risk was much more entertaining tonight. The Russian monster will be Kong Thoran is a monster, and his brother's fighting next weekend. So Brand Risk, I don't really watch Brand Risk. Oh, wait, that Russian. Oh, he's talking about, they're not even the same. This isn't even the same convo. You're talking about, I assume you're talking about LFA. I didn't even watch LFA, but shout out. I thought you were talking about Brand Risk, bro. That was going off on it. But Brand Risk, yeah, it probably was more entertaining. I guarantee you that. I only saw the Adam22 clip on Twitter, like the 1 minute. I mean, bro, I don't know. Do I even feel bad for this guy? I mean, it depends how much he got paid. At the same time, like, this is crazy. Like, I mean, this is like another walk of life. Like, we're all here, and like these people are like fucking here, man. You never know what these people are doing. Like, fucking, your own girl, man. Crazy, man. But yeah, no. So for those guys that don't know, actually, maybe some of you don't know. Maybe I should even explain it. Adam22 just fought Jason Love. Adam22 is actually in this whole adult film industry. His wife, the mother of his child, is a porn star. Has sex with this dude Jason Love a few years ago. Makes a tape. People making memes about it. They just fought in a boxing match, essentially like the Cug versus the dude that fucked this girl. So. And Adam22, I actually picked Adam22. I thought Adam22 was gonna win. I saw this guy Jason Love on the pads. It was terrible, bro. It was really bad. Like, it was really bad. But Adam22 actually wasn't. It didn't seem like. Actually, I don't know if I ever saw him on the pads. But I think I just heard somewhere he was boxing. Actually, maybe I did. I don't know. I don't even remember. But he seemed better technically. I said maybe he'll win. But look, these guys are all new. I think when you have a huge dude like Jason Love charging at you. You know what I'm saying? A strong dude like him, he's just going to break you down, So that is what it is. Let me see. What are you guys saying? We're going to find out a lot about what the UFC thinks of Cam Smotherman. If they pay him, they like him. If not, peace. Imagine some guy finished your wife and then finishes you. Deadass. I don't know why. By the way, guys, YouTube is being a bitch right now. YouTube blocked that comment. Imagine some guy finishing your wife and then finishing you. That is a fucking hilarious comment. We almost did not see that because they're blocking it. I have no idea why they're blocking it. So weird. Fuck them. I don't know what that's all about, but whatever. YouTube being a bunch of bitches. But yeah, no, that is very embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing. I don't even know. Like, I mean, he look, at the end of the day, I saw that at the end, at least his wife went up to him. When his wife jumped on some dude after, I really thought it was Jason Love. Bro. I was like, bro, don't do this to my guy, bro. Do not do this to Adam22, bro. He's not literally my guy, by the way, but please. I don't want to be associated with cucks, please. No, we're not into this. Crazy, man. Like I said, man, these celebrities, the lifestyles, you never know what's going on. You never know what's going on with JackMMA. Maybe I'm going to these freak offs and all this and that. We're gonna find out a lot about what the UFC thinks. I wanted to address that. Yeah, what the UFC thinks of Cam Smotherman. If they pay him, they like him. Yeah, if they pay him, they definitely like him. But if not, they could still like him. I just think that's just how they are, to whoever. I don't think it necessarily applies to him or anybody else, but, Adam 22 versus Andrew Tate. Who wins? I did see the Andrew Tate fight. I probably would pick Andrew Tate, just given off that performance. At least Andrew Tate has composure. I think that was really what fucked up Adam 22 is I just don't think he had the composure. I think that it's a big moment, big pressure, fighting a dude that fucked your wife. Definitely tough. It's really tough to lock in for that one. I don't know. They're really tough. So credit for him for even doing it, bro. But at the same time, like I said, if he got paid a bag, it's like, I would fight anybody if the bag was big enough, not even because I'm a tough guy. I'm just saying I would just take the money. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it is what it is. Like, if I got paid, I mean, look, I would fight someone for $1 million. That's not even all that much. I would pay, I definitely would. What's like, okay, guys, let me know in the chat. What's like the lowest amount you guys would have to fight somebody? I would probably, what's the lowest amount? I'd probably go like, I don't know, bro. Honestly, I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. It's like, I was going to say like 100K. But then I thought, am I really going to say no to 50K? It really depends, I guess, how broke you are, I guess. But maybe I'll take 50K. I shouldn't really say this online. What if people try to offer me now fights? They know my negotiation. They know my limits, all this and that. I don't know. Part of me is like, would I really say no to 5,000, 10,000? I don't know. I think maybe 10,000. Depends who, but 10 mil, I'd fight anyone on the planet. You're right about that. That's true. I wouldn't fight Deontay Wilder, I don't think, for like $10,000, like, or prime Mike Tyson for 10,000. I would probably do it for lower than $1 million though. I'd probably fight. Actually, I don't know, man. That's tough, bro. That's tough. I would like it, if I had some time to train, I would like it just to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I could, it'd be good. I don't know. But at the same time, I probably would, I'm not saying I would win with the training. I'm just saying it would be, a cool test or whatever the hell. Once again, guys, this was another message I got blocked. Gun for hire here. Unemployed. I'd F up anybody with a bottle of brandy. Well, okay, I can understand why YouTube kind of blocked that one, actually. Now I'm thinking about it, but I hope he's joking. Otherwise, maybe I'm going to get hooked on this charge for soliciting this deal of the hitman. But yeah, no, guys. So Zuffa Boxing, trash. Brand Risk was actually better than Zuffa Boxing. Moving on to UFC tomorrow. UFC, like I said, UFC 324 is tomorrow. I wanted to give some of my predictions. I actually didn't give any predictions this week on the channel. I did talk a lot about drama, a lot about Paddy Pimblett. I just did a video today. If you guys didn't see it, definitely go check it out, guys. Sometimes these videos, they don't get into people's feeds. People comment and say all the time. People say, I haven't seen your videos in my feed. What the hell's going on? You've been posting this whole time? Yes, I've been posting this whole time. I don't know what YouTube is. I don't know if YouTube hates me. YouTube's blocking all these fucking chats from entering, so who even knows? Maybe they do hate me, But maybe they do. I don't know. I really think it's possible, but my point is I did upload, so if you guys can, like, comment, definitely comment, guys. We need to get the comments up. We need to get the engagement up. We need to get the watch time as well. Watch the whole thing. Watch it again. Send it to a friend. Tell him to watch it, and all that. But point is, I'm getting off topic now. I'm getting a little ridiculous with this. Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje is happening tomorrow. Just excited because, guys, it's been, 6 weeks without UFC? I think that's why I'm going to watch Zuffa. I watched the Andrew Tate one, too. I watched that, and I didn't watch the Brand Risk. I did honestly keep checking, though. I did go on the stream a few times, say, hey, is it happening now? So if I would have caught it, I would have watched it. I just missed it, and I got the notification on my phone that said, oh, it happened, first round knockout, and I was like, no fucking way. Or first minute knockout. But I've been hungry for fights, and, I'm glad that finally we're actually being fed with some good fights. Finally, it's actually a really good card. Even the prelims are really good. We did lose the, Man Nunes, Kayla Harrison fight, but, I still like the card. It's still pretty good. I'm not crying about it necessarily, but it definitely was, not a bad fight or anything like that. But the main event, I'm actually pretty excited for. Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett. I've been saying this whole time, I actually really like that fight. Obviously, there was controversy, at the time. Oh, it's, what's the purpose of this? Why isn't Armin? I agree 1,000%. I said in the video yesterday, I would have honestly wished at this point it was Armin because of just the pure glazing we've seen Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett do to each other. It's like, dude, get a room. Like, I would rather see you guys beef. I'd rather see some interesting friction. And obviously, Armin would have brought that. Armin would have brought crazy friction, crazy heat, crazy beef. And I think it would have really made everyone excited for tomorrow, especially with this blackout of fights. But obviously, they won't Gaethje, whatever. We can rant about it. Or, Dana's definitely salty about this. With, you see him anytime they're talking about, like, Armin's, like, media tour. Reporters are asking him, like, oh, Dana, what do you think about Armin's media tour, about, all the love he's been receiving from fans? Like, he's just fuming. He's like, fuck this guy. Like, he just wants him to just suffer, to lose. Like I said, fuck. I don't know. Dana, I don't know what's going on, man. Dana really is just falling off heavy. Like, definitely. It's just like, let us fans down, for sure. But like I said, regardless, I actually do like the main event, even though I'm just shitting on Dana White. I think that Paddy Pimblett's going to win. My brain says that. But I have a gut feeling that Justin Gaethje is going to catch him, to be honest. I have a gut feeling that maybe Paddy Pimblett's going to get tired, and we're going to see Justin do really well. But my brain is telling me, Jack, you're crazy. Definitely is going to be Paddy Pimblett by submission. And I'm probably going to pick, I am picking that. I'm going to just say that. I'm picking Paddy Pimblett by submission. But like I said, I don't know, man. Part of me wants to go with Gaethje and say, well, Gaethje, Poirier made some really good points when he talked about the matchup. I talked about that, like I said, in today's video that came out. So go check it out. But I talked a little bit about Dustin's take. But I'll say this. I didn't say this in the video, but I actually agreed with a lot of it. I feel like that Justin is a hard guy to stay away from. And look, he's a guy also that's really good defensively at wrestling. Paddy Pimblett, he hasn't faced anybody I would say as good as Justin. I mean, yeah, he fought Michael Chandler, but I don't think Michael Chandler, who knows? I mean, Michael Chandler, he hadn't fought in 2 years or a year or what was it, 2 years, something like that. He lost to Oliveira, and then he went up against Paddy. We haven't seen him since. He could be terrible. He could be literally buns. I mean, he could be shit for all we know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know anything about Chandler. He could be really terrible right now. We don't know. So that win, I don't really put too much credence on. Oh, and Bobby Green. Shout out Bobby Green. Wow. Great names there. Obviously, like, what is this? So I think that, I kind of, part of me is kind of saying we don't really know too much, and that makes me kind of want to go with Justin Gaethje. But I don't know. I think my brain though says if Paddy looked really good against Chandler, he's also good at wrestling, at grappling. So I don't know. 10-7, you don't belong here. What's 10-7? Are you saying that I'm a 10-7? That I just 10-7 someone, I mean. Jack, I remember Paddy's girlfriend. He won Paddy's GF he had when he got famous. Oh, is he still with her? The only good thing about Paddy is him and the girlfriend made a cute couple. Yeah, I think that's the mother of his children, I'm pretty sure. I don't even think they're just a girlfriend. I think that's literally, I don't know if it's a girl, but 10-7, you don't belong there, Robert Green. Yeah. Bobby Green is, King Green, I should say, actually. My bad, guys. King Green. For some reason, you can see just catching Paddy chin up with a left hook and or some gnarly kicks in the later rounds. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think the longer the fight goes, the more it favors Justin Gaethje. However, though, we have seen Gaethje kind of fatigue with grappling. He's actually talked about himself that the reason he doesn't wrestle, I don't know. I heard him talk about it this week. I'm not sure what answer he gave. I don't think I actually saw the full clip. But years ago, he talked about, and he said that the reason he didn't was because he gets fatigued. You know what I'm saying? Is because he got tired. And I believe it, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why he doesn't do it as much. And we saw and I believe it because look at Khabib. Khabib walked him down. And anytime this guy is going backwards, it's tough. Will he respect the wrestling of Paddy Pimblett or the grappling of Paddy Pimblett? I don't know. I mean, I kind of thought at the same time, I'm like, Justin, maybe he doesn't and just goes forward and defends takedowns. And then what does Paddy do? I think on the feet, it's not going to be easy even slightly for Paddy. I don't think it'll be easy at all. I think that I don't know, man. I do think, though, Paddy will get it. Justin's another guy. I just talked about Chandler. We don't know how good he is. Gaethje got knocked out by Max Holloway out cold. Took a year off, came back against. He was supposed to come back. Who was he supposed to fight? Dan Hooker, but Dan Hooker pulled out, and he fought a short notice Rafael Fiziev, who was coming off of an injury himself. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We don't know how good Gaethje is either, so I'm going to go with Paddy. That's my final prediction, Paddy Pimblett. Co-main event, we got Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong, another fight that I'm excited about. It's tough. I've seen some people make some good points about this fight, saying, oh, Song Yadong overextends this and that, but I don't know. I'm kind of going with Song Yadong. Song Yadong, I think, if we're going at probability, who has the most likely chance to win in terms of who has the most capabilities, I think Song, because I think Song can mix it up, maybe catches Sean O'Malley, maybe even just outstrike Sean O'Malley, gets the boxing going. But I think that O'Malley does have a lot of different weapons, and that'll be interesting to see. And also O'Malley has really good takedown defense. I mean, we saw with even, with Merab, that Merab had trouble even taking him down a lot, especially in that first fight where even O'Malley was injured in that. Apparently O'Malley had an injured hip going into that fight, and he was able to stay on the feet for a lot of it. Or even if not, like, it wasn't like Merab was super controlling him. But like I said, even though the threat of the takedown alone will change the fight enough. And will that, I don't know, I think that Song Yadong is going to win. I don't know. I think so. I don't know, though. But I feel like also O'Malley is a really talented dude. I don't know. Actually, I might go with O'Malley, to be honest. What do you guys think? I want to know what you guys think. Tell me, give me your thoughts, and maybe I'll change my mind. Because I'm honestly pretty 50-50. I'm really curious. I don't know. For some reason, we read that one. Who do you have winning, Figgy versus Umar? I think Umar because Figgy weigh-in. Yeah, so Figgy missed weight today. And I was just saying that. I was like, at first I was like, wow, it's really crazy that this guy, he was missing weight at flyweight, moves up to bantamweight. Now he's missing weight at bantamweight, even though he's been at bantamweight for a bit now. I thought it was funny, but then I was like, actually, maybe now I'm thinking about it, he's not that big. Like, he's not big enough to go to featherweight. Maybe there's an injury here. Maybe there's a reason he couldn't lose that weight. So I don't know. I think that might be what's going on there. And if that's the case, obviously that does. I mean, we're already, Umar's already a pretty decent favorite. I think this kind of elevates it. But will he get a finish? Maybe a finish. And this is going to be, well, actually, I don't know. I was going to say that it used to be back then, like the most viewed slot on TV because pay-per-view was blocked up. ESPN's free, but now it's like everything's on the same thing. So I guess it doesn't really matter anymore. But that'll probably be a big fight. A big pop if he finishes Figgy and for his career. And I think, who knows, maybe he could leverage that into a title shot. Maybe he could leverage it into the winner of Song Yadong versus Sean O'Malley. Especially if it's Song Yadong, I think they'll go with that. But who knows, if O'Malley wins, they could even go with Petr Yan versus Sean O'Malley at the White House. Even though Merab, I saw he said something like Russians are unable to go to the White House. I think that Merab will ultimately get the title shot. I don't think they're going to skip him over. I think, come on, Merab has done, I know that they've done some shit things lately, but Merab has done so much for the company. Like, you're really going to, fuck this guy over. Like, come on, he defended the title so many times. He is as legit as they come. He's a good dude too. Give him the title shot is my opinion. So I don't think they'll skip him over, but I'm going to go with Umar, though, sadly. I will be rooting for my guy, Figgy. I love Figgy more than the next guy, but I will be picking Umar for that matchup. There's a lot of good fights on there. Let me actually look at the full card. I like the Derek Lewis fight, Waldo Costa-Cortez. That's also a really nice fight. Let me see. And I'm sure if Derek wins that, he might fight at the White House, they say. Shout out to the White House card, I guess. Question mark. Are we even supposed to shout it out anymore? I don't even know. Oh, bro, how could I forget about this fucking fight? Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. I mean, bro, this is a great fight. The two autistics, apparently. What's going on with this? Two autistics is what they're calling him. Well, that's what Gene Silva's saying. Gene Silva said he's autistic and that Arnold Allen's probably autistic. I think Arnold Allen has said he's autistic in the past, or said that people have called him autistic. It's a good matchup to start up the main card. Arnold Allen has underrated entertaining fights, guys. He is a guy that can throw down. He's someone that he even the fight against Mobzar wasn't even a bad fight. Mobzar is known for having bad fights. So Arnold Allen actually has some underrated fights, and obviously Gene Silva, I mean, everyone knows he has great fights. I mean, I don't know. Arnold Allen is so weird. Arnold Allen's so good, but, like, no one talks about him. You know, I like Arnold Allen, you know? I think he's a good fighter. I'm a fan of Arnold Allen, but people don't talk about him enough. I think I've always said that I've been supporting this guy for a long time, you know. But it just seems like no matter what, yes, Allen versus Silva will be a war. Yeah, that's gonna be fucking crazy. Who do I pick though? I don't know, man. I think that Allen will win, but I don't know though. Gene Silva is just an animal though. You know, Diego Lopez is also an animal, and Diego Lopez is a tough matchup. And he actually didn't do all that bad, I think, all things considered, against Diego Lopez. I know he got, like, the absolute shit beaten out of him, especially at the end, but it was an entertaining fight, and he hung in there. Like, it did. And Diego Lopez, look, he's a really good fighter himself. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't knock off points. Who knows? Like, he can go into this looking really good, you know. In this sport, it always seems to be you're only as good as your last fight. It really does seem to be that way, and that's what I was talking about with Paddy Pimblett. His last fight was against Michael Chandler, who, like I said, look at his last fight was against Oliveira, and before that, he hadn't fought for 2 years. We don't know how good Chandler was when he fought Paddy. We don't know, and it's kind of a similar case with this, with Gene Silva, except kind of the opposite. It's like he lost Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez is good. I'm not ready to write him off yet, and Arnold Allen also is another guy that hasn't fought in a while, I don't think. I think it was like last year. I think it was in like one of the Canada cards or something like that. Maybe I'm bugging. Maybe it wasn't even that. But it was one of those cards, and you know, Allen looked, you know, he looked good. He looked decent, I think. I don't actually know. Actually, I'm fucking lying. I don't even remember. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. What was the last fight? Oh yeah, against Shikadze. Right. It was not in Canada. It was in USA. Oh no. Oh my God, he hadn't fight since 2024. Is wild. Damn. So yeah, he hasn't fought in a minute. Yeah, and he's a guy that gets injured a lot. So yeah, I guess that was what was going on. Damn. So we're also dealing with a guy that hasn't fought in like 2 years. Damn, time does fly by. Oh no, I guess it hasn't really been 2 years. I forget that it just turned 2026. But you guys get what I'm saying. It's been a pretty long time since they fought. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm about to sneeze in a second. Yeah, that's a good fight. I like that fight. Arnold Allen versus Allen. I think that maybe Gene Silva actually I'm going to pick just from inactivity. I think that Gene Silva's going to jump on him. And I think that I think he might knock him out, to be honest. But, you know, Arnold Allen is about it, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think that if Gene Silva throws down, I think Arnold Allen could throw down too. And I don't think he's going to be a guy that covers up and, oh, I got knocked out, got finished. Like, nah, I think he's going to be a guy that's in there saying, hey, I'm going to throw right back at you, and I might knock you out, bud. So that's what I think. I mean, we saw him. I think he got knocked down by Max Holloway when he fought Max Holloway. But let's see. If Sean stiffens Yadong, then put Sean against Sandhagen, and we'll set up the trilogy with Merab and Yan. So I agree with you. I've been saying for the longest time, I've been a Corey Sandhagen fan for a very long time. I've been saying I want to see him and O'Malley. I don't think they'll do it just because I think that Corey, you know, I say that, but Corey, you know, he does lose all the big fights. You know what I'm saying? He lost to Merab, lost to Umar. Like, anytime, like I said, he wins every fight, and then it's like when it's that fight to get him to that, you know, title, or he's in the title, he loses it, you know, and that's that. It's sad, and I say that as a fan. I'm a huge fan of him. This isn't me talking shit. It's literally just what's happened. So I've been rooting for him for a minute. I've been wanting him to fight O'Malley, and why I said that was I was going to say they don't want to put him up against Sandhagen, but it's like, at the same time, I don't know, like, you know, if he's probably, you know, I mean, I guess they'll put him up against him rather than Umar. Umar beat Sandhagen, so I don't know. But I said Umar. I think Umar would be a bigger fight. But maybe they just have Umar wait for the winner of the trilogy at the end of the year in Abu Dhabi. Maybe they do that. Maybe they do Merab versus Yan some point soon, maybe the next few months before the White House card. And then they do the Abu Dhabi card, and maybe they'll do Umar versus whoever. You never know. I mean, I think that Umar will probably get who knows, he can get another title shot this year, especially since he's probably going to beat Figueiredo. I mean, well, Umar did say, though, that he wants to be active. And to be fair, and to Umar's credit, guys, Umar seems to me that he is a guy that kind of wants to be active. Because remember, he was down seemingly to fight Song Yadong when Merab said, hey, I'm not going to fight Umar, he said, look, I'll fight Yadong in December then. I want to get a fight in, and let's do it. Eventually, then, Merab did agree to fight, Umar. But initially, he was like, no, I'll fight Yadong. So, anything's possible. Allen went to a decision against Max, but Max did piece him up. Then again, it's Max, the BMF. Yeah, exactly. And I don't even think Allen actually looked all that bad in that fight, by the way. I mean, to say pieced up, I don't even say he pieced him up. You know, he had moments where he did piece him up, but it wasn't a one-sided ass whooping. You know, it wasn't a Calvin Kattar performance or, you know, I'm trying to even equate that. You know, it was definitely, look, he won, but that's that. Cool hoodie. Yo, I appreciate it. Shout out. This is Eminem. Some people just think it's for kamikaze or some design, but, you know, shout out to Eminem. Shout out to GOAT. In my opinion, at least, or not even my opinion. I think it's just a fact, but I don't know. I don't know if Allen can handle that pressure from Gene Silva, but we'll see. Silva could get carried away and get caught if Allen can handle the pressure. So I totally disagree with that. And that's why I've been saying, like, I think he can, because look at the fight with Dan Hooker. You know, that was a crazy high-paced fight where he was able to, you know, be in the pocket and knock out Dan Hooker. Now, like I said, my only question mark, I agree with you to a certain extent. I think that the inactivity might cause some hesitancy. I think he'll try to throw down, and I think he might get caught. It's my prediction. Why I think that Allen, I think that's what's probably going to happen. Just tuned in. How was Zuffa Boxing? Zuffa was, I was talking about it before, but it was just mid. It was really bad. Bad fights, same fights over and over again. All boring, all pretty much going to a decision. A couple of doctor stoppages here and there that were a little weird. It was mid, and it makes, you know, before I questioned, you know, even if boxing was ever going to be a sport that's worth watching, you know, in terms of in a UFC format, it's worth watching when we have these big mega fights where there's built-in storylines and there's all this promotion. It's worth it in that example because then you're watching it, 1, 2, 3, 4 times a year. And they're probably going to be good fights because they're the highest level there is and you care so much. So they're going to be entertaining anyway. But when we're talking about watching a card from prelim to main event, I don't know if boxing is that sport. That's my opinion. After seeing this, especially if these events are going to keep going like this. But I talked more about it then. I think Lewis round 1 knockout. Also, he is way more experienced. Yeah, I think. Wow, you think 1-on-1 knockout? I think so too. Because Derek Lewis is always slept on, man. He's always slept on. I'm like, I think so too. I agree with you. I'm gonna pick Derek Lewis too. Waldo Cortez, like. I think that Derek Lewis, man, it's just like he'll just go forward, and it's like you can't stop it because it's like his power is so much. He is very tough to fight because you're worried about the power too on top of it. I think Waldo Cortez, I think he's got to kind of demystify the I don't know what that was, bro. I feel like an explosion happened or something outside. What the fuck was that, man? Hopefully I'm not getting bombed or something like that or something crazy, man. The fuck? It literally was like something got blown up. I don't know what the hell that was. But what do you call it? In other news, yeah, he's such a difficult guy to fight because it's like you're thinking about the power. I think Waldo Cortez kind of has to demystify him and demystify the power. And kind of just say, hey, look, I'm fighting a guy. Let me circle. Let me, you know, fight intelligently, this and that, and not get too overly cautious. Well, also, you know, obviously you got to be cautious to a certain extent. So. Natalia Silva. I said Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. I've been a fan of Natalia Silva for a minute. She's definitely one of, I think, the most underrated female fighters on the roster, 1,000%. We talked about Umar versus Davison. Atiba Gauthier versus Andre Pulyav. I'm a big fan of. I know I'm saying I'm a big fan of everybody today, but Atiba Gauthier, I like him a lot. He's really exciting. I think in the division. Nicholas Cryer, Modista Bakakis. I mean, it's okay. Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. I mean, shout out to Charles Johnson with that hair. Obviously, the Smother Man fight got canceled. They're early prelims, so like not really worth talking about. Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. That's a pretty good fight too. Yeah, it seems like, you know, there's some good fights coming up, I guess. I've been saying this. I think that the fight nights, the main events, are especially in early 2026 so far that we see, they're not bad, the main events. But my question is, will the pay-per-view suffer as a result? That is when we'll decide, hey, well, is it worth it? I don't know. I mean, at the same time, it's like maybe pay-per-view doesn't matter as much anymore just because now you're not paying. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is really the difference if 1 week, UFC puts on a title fight as a fight night and then a numbered event, as, something else? It's like they're all on the same platform. They all might as well be just a UFC fight night. You know what I'm saying? At that point, right? Because they're all free. There's nothing really you don't really need to put. I mean, I think they do. I mean, look, it's a good marketing thing, and it's a good thing. Hey, look, we got something to look forward to. It's an easy thing to keep track of. I'm not saying to change it, but I'm just saying in theory, technically anything could be a fight night main event now, and maybe we're going to start seeing the worsening of paper or the numbered events, just because maybe those will be more title fight cards, and maybe we'll have more events evenly spread out. Maybe instead of having great, or, even pay-per-views have kind of suffered last year, to be honest. There wasn't even many great pay-per-views, but, and maybe instead of having these great pay-per-views or really good pay-per-views or whatever the case is, we're going to start seeing every event being, it's good, good. You know what I'm saying? Good main event, good co-main event, and that's basically all you need with some decent fun fights under. Maybe that's what it'll be, and maybe will that hurt the product? Will that help? I don't know. I think it really matters, who you are. Would you rather more of good things or less but great things, I actually was saying, I was the one advocating for saying, listen, I think that the UFC should honestly do every 2 weeks and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, the UFC should do every 2 weeks or less in the events, I think, to stack up these cards is what I think, but obviously I guess they don't want to do that. That's obviously less money, I assume. So there's that. And like I said, guys, my main concern, by the way, about tomorrow night is, as I said, Zuffa Boxing, Paramount Plus. The thing was crashing for so many people. It was crashing for me. It was, tons of, glitches. I jumped around on like 3 different devices to watch this thing. And keep in mind, I mean, I was watching, from the last prelim fight to the main event. But still, I mean, I shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to just watch plop on. I never thought, it's really sad, man, because I was so happy to just get away from ESPN Plus, or how bad ESPN Plus was. And it's like, wow, now Paramount Plus is crashing. It's like, oh, wow, we're cooked, aren't we? Are we cooked? I don't know, guys. And my fear is, like I said, that was Zuffa Boxing. This is UFC with a lot more viewers, a lot more people trying to tune in. There's going to be a lot more traffic. Hope Paramount Plus can handle it. Even I saw people complaining about the ads, which ads are on pay-per-view, so I don't know, I might upgrade or some shit like that. I don't know. We'll see. But ads were, I guess bleeding into the fights during what do you call it? During during rounds. So it'd be like 15 seconds into the round when the ad would end, and it's like, like anything happened in those seconds, and it's annoying. So there's a lot of issues I've heard about that. That didn't happen to me, the ad thing. The ads were actually pretty good for me. But there were times where it was out of sync at one point, because the ad played and that fucked up the audio. It was like a delay, things of that nature. So I'm kind of worried about that for tomorrow, but we'll see. Like I said, who knows? Let's see. Oddly, if Smotherman does fight tomorrow, no, he's not fighting. I can still see him winning a decision against Tercios. That's funny, but he's not fighting. Alex looked super defeated on the scales earlier. I can see him getting a cut if Charles Johnson starches him. Yeah, I think so. I think he'll definitely get cut if, regardless. I think if he loses, unless he wins in great fashion. But he'll probably get cut, I would assume. Who did you have winning if Harrison versus Nunes was going down tomorrow? Ooh. I think probably Harrison in my brain, but who knows? Like I said, there's a lot of question marks about Nunes. Nunes, I didn't think looked bad in her last fight against Irina Aldana. Obviously, what was that, wow, was that 4 years ago now? No, it was 3 years ago, right? 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, I mean, a lot could happen in 3 years. I think I saw some people say you can't get better by not fighting. Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that it could happen. Yeah, I get it. It's good to have that experience. But I also think it's good to, slow down and say, hey, let me actually focus on learning more skills. If you were genuinely not training, of course, that's a different story. But it seemed to me she was active. She was training. She probably still... It seemed to me that this was always the play. I'm going to retire, come back. Kayla Harrison stepping in probably at some point. And we'll have a mega fight, or I'll have a mega fight against whoever's the champ. Maybe it's Juliana, whoever it is. I think this was always in the cards for Amanda Nunes to eventually come back. So I'm pretty sure during this time, I'm sure she's just picked up on skills, learned new skill sets, and improved. Because when you're in a training camp, you're thinking about a lot of things, thinking about losing weight, thinking about not getting injured, thinking about all these things. Just getting in shape in general. Oh, you have to very regimented schedule. But when you're just relaxing, you get to learn so much more. You know what I'm saying? You get to ask questions and take time and say, hey, wait, actually, let's take a day to go over this technique. We don't got to worry about losing weight. We don't got to do. So there's an argument also to be said that she would be better going into the Kayla Harrison fight than she was. And I think that, I don't know how good Kayla Harrison is. Kayla Harrison lost to Larissa Pacheco. She did beat Larissa twice. So she's lost in the PFL. Larissa's not bad, by the way, actually, at all. But she lost to Chris Cyborg. So maybe that's something to talk. Or did she beat Chris? No, she lost to Chris Cyborg. So that's to say something for sure. And she almost lost against Caitlin Vieira as well when they fought back in last year or something like that, or 2 years. I don't even know when it was. Everything's blending at this point, but yeah. So I don't know how good Kayla Harrison actually will be. Obviously, she's great at judo, but at MMA, Amanda's a strong girl. She's fought at 145 before. I don't know why they didn't just do this fight at 145 at this point. I'm kind of more interested in that. I think that the whole Kayla Harrison cutting weight thing is just it makes you kind of question, will she be 100%? You know what I'm saying? So it's what's the point of a fight if you're kind of it's kind of like the TJ Dillashaw thing, cutting the flyweight. It's what's the point of even having the fight if you're going to be depleted? You're not even going to be the same fighter. There's really nothing we can take away from that because it was a weight cut thing, And it was clear as day. I mean, I'm not saying that, who knows what would have happened if the fight with TJ lasted longer. But, I mean, he cut a lot of weight. It probably wasn't going to go his way, especially with how it, actually went. So, I don't know, guys. But UFC is looking really good tomorrow, guys. I'm going to be live again. Literally right after the event right here. So if you guys enjoyed it, tune in, hit the notification bell. I'm going to set up the stream later after I end this one. So you guys will see it throughout the day that it's going to happen. And we'll be back. Last time, remember, guys, we went live last time for a long minute. I don't think we're going to be doing that again, guys. I have to be up earlier, so I don't think that will happen. But you never know, guys. If the stream is popping, if this is happening, if that's happening, I might stay on. Let me know, guys. Put in the chat any questions you guys got. I'm probably going to dip out in a little bit. So I'll answer whatever ones you guys got left. But yeah, last time we went streaming, bro, it was a very long time. It was 8 hours, all night, bro. It was crazy. Also, guys, real quick, remember, guys, Mic Check Podcast is the podcast I do with my guy Shiv. You guys can go check it out. I don't know if it's in the description. I probably should put it in the description. But you can just look up the Mic Check or probably look at the comment section of my last YouTube video. I commented on there from the Mic Check, so shout out to the Mic Check. Where we're interviewing people, doing funny videos, doing funny content. Follow us on Instagram, the app, the Mic Check NYC, as well. There we're having a lot of fun content, a lot of crazy content, or at the miccheck.nyc anywhere really. Who do you have, Ty Miller or Fugate? That's actually the one fight I didn't talk about because I didn't really know so much about it. To be honest with you, who is Ty? He fought on Dana White's Contender Series, right, or something like this. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I do kind of remember him. I don't know to be honest with you. I really don't know. I hate to leave you hanging like that, but I don't know. Call me a casual. I'm sorry. But probably Miller, just based on the fact that he's, undefeated and going, Dana White Contender Series alum. Like I said, they usually pick Dana White Contender Series guys that they believe in, guys. It seems to me, actually, I don't really know this for a fact. It just is my opinion. I could be wrong, honestly, genuinely on this. But I think that they, and I'm not afraid to say what I think, so I genuinely am saying I might be wrong. So seriously, I'm just saying that with this in mind. But I think that's what they do. I think that they just pick, guys that they're pretty confident in, guys that are, and pair them up against, people that aren't as good, people with maybe good records, but they know, hey, they're kind of padded in a way, or maybe even guys that don't have necessarily a good record and they're just going to throw them in there and let's get some good knockouts. Sometimes, yeah, underdogs do win. And I think it's because when you're in that stage, when you haven't been on that piece of stage and that pressure, by the way, to perform so good in that one night, and you need to get a finish and this, that, and all these insane things, anything happen to you. You can get nervous even if you're great, and you can get caught. Yeah, it's a boring fight, TBH. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's the one I didn't actually cover because I was like, I'm not so into it. That was like one of the only ones. But I definitely will be watching. Like I said, Charles. What is it? Not Charles. Well, I won't be watching that one. But Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. I think that's actually a good fight too. But yeah, guys, shout out to all y'all. Love you guys so much. I'm gonna dip out now. Damn, I love going live, guys. I really do. I love talking to y'all. Y'all really brought it. Y'all are the reason I love going live, because I love talking to you guys. Just love talking to the chat, bullshitting, talking about MMA, talking about what I love, and all that stuff, complaining about boxing. Paddy has always been seen as underestimated in the past. Do you think he's being overestimated in this one? Yeah, I do think so. That's what I was saying before. It's like, at the same time, like, you look at Paddy Pimblett's resume, you could easily pick it apart. Like I said, he lost against Sia, Absolute Legend, but he lost Absolute Legend Mate 420. I love the name, by the way. But he beat, I'm sorry, no, he didn't lose, but Paddy Pimblett, he beat Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler, before that, lost to Oliveira. He hadn't fought in 2 years. We don't know the Michael Chandler that, when's the last time this guy won a fight? We don't know how good Michael Chandler is. He could look shit in his next fight, and we're like, wow, we're confirming he's shit. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if he lost to, like, up and comer. They're probably gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if they put him up against Fiziev or something like that. That would be a dope fight. I would really like that fight, to be honest. That's a really good fight. But because now it seems like they're not going with Chandler. I mean, Chandler and McGregor. But I think I don't know. I said recently I think that Chandler could beat McGregor, which is the first time I've ever said that. I used to pick McGregor, but I think that Chandler is gonna beat him now, to be honest, just because of the time. But yeah, I do think he's being a bit overestimated. If someone is saying, "Hey, for sure, Paddy," I would say, "Well, pump your brakes there." I wouldn't say for sure, but I'm gonna lean Paddy. I think, yeah, if you genuinely view, like, oh, maybe, or no, I'm sorry, actually the opposite. If you view it like, oh, Paddy's gonna destroy Gaethje, no chance. I don't know. Like I said, also, we don't know the Gaethje coming into this. Gaethje got knocked out by Holloway, came back, fought a short notice Fiziev, and is now fighting Paddy. I probably would pick Paddy. I think Paddy's going to win. I think in all most likelihood, Paddy by sub. But we'll see. Tomorrow I'm going to face the music. I'm going to face you guys. And if I'm wrong, you guys can call me out, bro. I love you all. Seriously, I love talking to y'all. Love bullshitting. Love gooning with y'all, to be honest with you. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll see, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. You guys are the best fan base MMA. Check out my video that I did today because, yeah, that would help me. Hopefully help you guys, find out about the news, find out about what's going on in the MMA.